welcome back to my kitchen, and today is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day. Today I had to do something special for my wife because it's Mother's Day, so I'm doing something that I wouldn't normally cook at home. So stay with me and I'm going to show you what it is. Welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome back to my kitchen, Danny. Behave. Welcome back to my kitchen today. Hey, let me do it. So today, first of all, happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day. I know that when this video will go live, it won't be Mother's Day anymore. It's not Mother's Day. I had to do something special, so I'm cooking some duck. I want to say thank you to my friends at Game Farm for giving me this beautiful duck. It's about 2 kilos. So what I have done with this duck, I left it for a few days in the fridge, unopened, just on a tray like this with rack underneath, and I just let the duck a little bit dry aging. What dry aging means, basically the skin gets quite drier, and the meat also will start losing a bit of the moisture, which will give a more intense flavor and will make the meat surprisingly more tender when you cook it. You could go for a little bit longer, you could go for up to a week or 10 days, but in the fridge at home it's a little bit inconvenient to do it, so I think this is good enough. The first thing that I'm gonna do, there's basically 3 preparations that we can do with this one. One is the leg, the 2 breasts, and then with the bone, with the carcass, we can do a stock. So the leg we're gonna do confit. I'm not gonna show you today, but today I'm gonna show you what to do with the breast. Before I go ahead and debone this duck, I wanna show you the condiments that I prepared, which I'm gonna show you with some short videos later. We got some pumpkin here, so roasted pumpkin, pan fried, both sides, and then salt, white vinegar, a little bit of fresh herbs, and we're just going to finish it in the oven. Here we have some beautiful gem lettuce, just pan fried and finished once again with a bit of vinegar. And these beautiful carrots, I don't know if you can see it, they are nicely glazed in the pan, then a little bit of butter and honey at the end to glaze them nicely. We also have some pear mustard here. We have some plum paste, marinated artichoke, and marinated goat cheese. All right, so we proceed on to breaking down the duck. First thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna take off the wings. We're just gonna take them off here, like that. So both wings are off. We can keep this one, they're beautiful for the stock. And then we remove the leg. We just go down here, break the bone, and cut it right there. All right, that's the leg, which I'm going to show you another time what to do with those to confit them. Second leg, once again you fill the bone there, break it, and it comes off like this. And now we're going to do the breast. So the breast, you just put the duck this way with the sort of breast facing up. There's a line here which helps you to understand where the bone is. You just have to go either right or left of the bone. Just a cut down there, and then you just follow the bone. I mean, if you've done it a few times, it's quite easy. If you do it for the first time, it might be a little bit more tricky to do. Now we're just going to trim it. We're going to take off all that sinew. You can see. The 2 breasts, and I'm going to show you how to cook them. Alright, so we have our beautiful breast here, ready to cook. It's important that you let them get to sort of room temperature. So the duck was already, when I deboned it before, was already out for a few hours. So the temperature of this is quite warmer than what it would be in the fridge. And a couple of words about the pan that you use. This is a cast iron pan. It's a good pan to cook, nice thick bottom. It will hold the heat quite nicely. So you need something like this. You can use a non-stick, but it's preferably something with a little bit of thickness. So what we're going to do, we're going to start and put the breast in with, as you can see, the fire is off, and then we're going to just turn it on, probably at a quite quite warm temperature. We're just going to wait a little bit until it warms up. We need to be careful with the temperature. The duck, you want to cook it to medium rare. If you cook it any less, it will be chewy, although it's better a little bit less cooked than a little bit more cooked. If you cook it medium or more than medium, medium is still okay. If you cook it more than that, it will be, the taste won't be nice, and the meat will be very tough. And that's one of the reasons why we need to be careful with the temperature that we apply to the pan. I didn't put any salt or any herbs. We're just going to deglaze with a little bit of this balsamic at the end. But for now, we're just going to leave it in there like this. So it is starting to cook. Basically, what we want to do, as you see, the fat, the skin and the fat is quite thick. So what we want to do is we want to render as much as possible that fat. And this is one of the advantages of when you do dry aging. That fat will dry, so there'll be less fat, and the skin also will come out more crispy. Okay, so slow heat. You don't need to touch it, you don't need to do anything. We're going to cook it most of the time, about 80% on the skin, with the skin side down, and then we're just going to quickly turn it later. And one important thing, I already have here a tray ready for the resting. This meat will need to rest for 5-10 minutes until it starts to cool down before you slice it. Otherwise, if you slice it too early, all the juices will come out. That's one of the most important secrets when you cook meat, particularly duck, lamb, and beef. But all the meat in general, they need to rest before you carve them. So you can see the skin is starting to caramelize a bit, but we just let it cook just gently. It will take approximately 10 minutes to cook altogether for this thickness. We just let it gently cook. We might decrease the fire. And as you can see, I didn't put any fat to start with, but the fat now of the skin, the fat is starting to come out. So you can see there's a bit of fat here in the pan starting to melt. So that's why you don't want to add any fat. We might actually, at some point, we might have to remove some of this fat out of the pan, otherwise they will fry. See, now the pan is getting quite hot. We might slightly decrease the heat and just let it gently cook. I just gently press it down. You don't want to press it too much, but I just gently press it down a little bit like that, just to make sure that the skin will be evenly caramelized. And we can do it now when it's still raw. Once it will start to be more cooked, you don't really want to press it too much, otherwise you'll start squeezing juices out. So decrease even further now the heat. We started with was it 7 or 8, I can't remember, and we now went down to 4. So obviously if you have fire, you just have to apply less flame. Now what we can do, we can give it a quick turn on this side, so it'll start cooking evenly from both sides. It's cooking from the top and then it's cooking from the bottom, but then we will finish it on the skin again. I've got the little spike here, which is basically a cake tester, and we're going to put it inside after. We're just going to feel it on our lips to see the temperature. And this is a good item to have. I mean, I have a thermometer as well, but the thermometer, the probe is quite big, so when you put it in, it makes a big hole into the duck. So I prefer like a cake tester, and when you feel it on your lips, you know that the duck should be just, basically you should feel it just warm. And then the resting time, just remember, with any steak that you cook, whether it's beef, lamb, pork, whatever animal, it will keep cooking. Once you take it off the pan or off the barbecue or off the oven, it will keep cooking, depending on the size of the meat, depending on the initial temperature, depending on many factors. But it will raise quite significantly once you take it out of the source of where you've been cooking it. Alright, so it's now time to turn them again. I'm going to increase a little bit the fire, a little bit, just when you turn it around you want it to caramelize a little bit quicker. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to throw away some of this excess fat. And I'm just going to turn them around. Look at the color, nicely caramelized. More fire now. And it will cook on this side. You can add some herbs now if you want. I mean, I don't think it makes much of a difference. As I said, at the end we're going to add a little bit of balsamic. and we're just gonna glaze them on top on the skin. Alright, so this breast here now, I feel like it's, yeah, almost ready to come off. Just a quick cooking on this side and a quick cooking on that side too, and we're just gonna leave it here to rest. Look at this, how beautiful it is. The skin is relatively crispy. We can quickly give it a quick pan fry later before I put the glaze in here. We can add this a little bit of this balsamic. I just want to let the pan cool down a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit of water just to deglaze it, and then we add a little bit of this balsamic. It's kind of a balsamic glaze, just like that. You can add a bit of herbs in here once again if you want to, and we're just going to let it reduce. Wow, it's important that you don't that you put a little bit of water to sort of cool down the pan a little bit, but you definitely don't want to wash it off too much, because you want to do what is called deglaze the sauce basically, so that it's nice and you capture all the flavor of the cooking of the duck. So that's it. So now we're gonna rest, leave the duck here to rest. If you haven't overcooked it, you can leave it up to rest, you know, for a long time, even 10, 15, 20, half an hour. It doesn't matter if you haven't overcooked it. So we're gonna leave it here for at least 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna start to put all the vegetables in the plate, and then I'm gonna show you at the end how we're gonna put all together. Alright, so now it's been about 10 minutes. Our duck has been beautifully resting. We got our glaze here. We're just gonna glaze it on the top like that. Look at this, how beautiful it is. Remember, there's no salt, so we're gonna add a little bit of salt later. And you see all this juice that came out. If you would have cut it before, there would have been more juice to come out, and the meat would have been dry. So now we are going to slice, and hopefully it will be good enough. Let's see if we've done a good job. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's absolutely perfect. Nice and pink. The skin, that's the beginning, so there's a bit more fat, but this side of the skin is quite nice. That means it's a nice duck too. We're just gonna slice it like that. Put it like this. A little bit of brine before it goes into the plate. Look at this. This is amazing. Goes into the plate. Look at this. Bit of glaze here still. You can glaze it on the top. Nice and simple. And touch of sea salt. And look at this. This is a nice dinner. The wife should be happy and enjoy.